Mhm.
Okay, we are live. We are live. Let me just check again, like usual, to make sure that we're actually excuse me, we're actually streaming on the page, which we are. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. For anyone joining the live, my name is Winnie Bienemy. I am a licensed mental health therapist. And joining me this afternoon for a conversation on stigmas related to mental health and therapy are Miss Renee and Miss Cartessa. I will let them introduce themselves and, just share a little bit more about who they are, and then we'll dive right into the conversation. We're really excited to talk about this topic today. So go ahead, Renee.
I'm Renee. I am a provisionally licensed professional counselor. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I deal with people that are facing anxiety, depression, cultural identity issues, body issues. I really love groups. I'm getting ready to start my grief group. Will be starting tomorrow. Not tomorrow. What is it? I'm losing track of time. Tuesday. Um, sorry, Tuesday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. It's an open group, meaning anyone can join. If you're interested, please let me know. It's dealing with grief, whether it's a death of a loved one, a job, a dream. All of those things can bring up forms of grief for us. So, yeah, I really would like you to be a part. Also, in June 10th, I will be starting my closed group, which is for women of color. It's called Healing Unapologetically. And it's dealing with issues that we face within mental health and just as Black women or as a person of color, woman of color. And it's a closed group. It's a $60 fee. There'll be 6 sessions, consecutive sessions, meaning each week there'll be one session. It'll be 1 hour on Mondays. And if you're interested, I will again put my information in the comment section so that you can reach out to me. Yeah,
That sounds like that's going to be a great time.
Yeah,
always.
Like, oh my
yeah,
goodness. I wanted to like start dancing. That
she
sounds like it's going to be awesome.
facilitated. Yeah, she facilitated that women's group last year, and it was just phenomenal.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
it
a
was
great
phenomenal.
idea. Good job,
So
Renee.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if you're in Louisiana, don't miss these wonderful opportunities.
Yes. Oh, and they're all virtual. So you can be in your home, cozy, comfy, all the good things. So making it more accessible.
In those PJs, getting that good vibe from those
Right?
other strong ladies. And that's great. I love
Mhm.
that. Like, I was like,
Dancing.
you were talking about it. I was like, that's awesome. That's going to be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, make sure you put that in the comments. I'll make sure I'll share that and um I'm definitely excited about how that's going to turn out. I might just go. I might just go. Why not?
Or you could be
I
a
mean,
guest speaker.
as long as you can find yourself in Louisiana somewhere, you can.
Yeah, I thought she said it was virtual, so I can't be out of state and join in.
It is virtual, but you have to be in Louisiana since she's licensed in Louisiana. So
Listen,
we gotta,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be okay with that. Well, you can just give me updates on how it goes because I'm sure it's going to be great. So I
Mhm.
encourage anyone in Louisiana to take advantage of that,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I'd love to hear about it. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll let you know how it
most
goes.
Yeah, and
Miss
then next
Martessa,
time we'll be inclusive. Maybe
yeah,
get Oklahoma in the mix.
yeah, you never know. You
right?
never
Hopefully,
know.
we'll pray
Yeah,
on it.
stay tuned.
I'm Cartessa Smith. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in Oklahoma, and I I'm just kind of glad to be here. I love the topic. I love the conversation. And mental health psychology is kind of my thing. So I love to like put my input wherever I can
Hmm.
because I'm so excited about it. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me back again. And yeah, let's get to talking
Awesome.
about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excited.
So, for anyone joining us live, if you are watching right now, we love when people engage with us. So
Oh my
if
God.
you have any thoughts on the topic, so again, the topic is stigmas related to mental health and therapy. So this conversation is going to be really, laid back, really down to earth. We're just really going to talk about a lot of the misconceptions about mental health and therapy, some of the stigmas that we've heard from people in our lives and from clients, and I'm like even things that you see on TV, like in the media, social media, stuff like that. So very laid back conversation. We'd love to hear from you if you're watching it live right now. But even if you're watching the recording later on, please share your thoughts. We will respond to the comments. So let's get started. Renee, I know that a few days ago, actually, we did a workshop where we talked a little bit about stigmas related to mental health and therapy. And I know that you have like a long list that you've compiled. So tell us a little bit more about some of what's on your list, and then Cartessa and myself will piggyback off of what you have on there. And again, if you're watching us live, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, type in what your stigmas are if you're watching.
So I'm going to try to condense it because there is a plethora. Like there's so many different, just from research I did on my own and just talking to people, because I have the face that people want to talk to, I guess, which is fine. So just talking to them, especially when I mention, oh, what do you do for a living? And I tell them, and they're like, oh, so so you work at a hospital? And I'm like, no, I could, but no. They're like, oh, so just the stigma of even saying mental health. People instantly think, oh, you have something severe going on. It's automatically going into, there when it comes to disorders, there's like a spectrum, right? There's some that are not so quote unquote heavy, and then there's some heavy hitters. And most people go to the what they see on TV of, oh, do you deal with schizophrenics? Do you deal with people that what is the movie that Sally Field was in with the multiple personalities? Like they go there, and I'm like, yes, that's part of it. However, if you're having a hard time with life or having an adjustment in life from graduating college to becoming to adulting, that's a shock to the system. Going from being, if you're in a relationship with someone and then you add a child into the mix, now you're a parent, whether you're a mom, dad, aunt, whatever, now you're a parent. Now you're entering into the stage where you feel like at your age you should be in a certain position. So facing those type of challenges of, at my age, have I really accomplished what I need to accomplish? And time is kind of impacting you. And yes, there's anxiety where you can't really function without the worries of, well, what if I cross the street and somebody hits me, or if I'm driving my car, or depression, and it takes you a minute to get out of the bed or to even think about showering or eating. Those are all things that we face. There could be a diagnosis, there couldn't be a diagnosis. It could just be something you're going through. So the stigma of, if I come and see you, something's really wrong with me. So I shouldn't come, or I should be able to handle this. And depending on what community you're in, what sometimes ethnic group you're in, or if we can even bring religion into it. Some religions that we are all might be in that have that stigma that, oh, you should be stronger, or the devil's out to get you, or oh, you weren't raised that way. And my question is, what does it mean you weren't raised that way? I don't think anyone, hopefully, wasn't raised in a situation where they feel like, oh, you can't express that you're depressed and I'm making you depressed. No, sometimes that happens. You can come from an amazing childhood or household, or you can come from a household that was not so great, but those can factor in, but it's not the ultimate factor. Money, cost of things. Sometimes people think, I've heard some things, I'll try to make it nice, but, oh, that's for rich people. That's for rich people. That's a luxury to have. That's
a white people thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's for white folk. We don't do that. Like what we talk about in this house, I can call my mom, or I can call my sister or my auntie. And I'm like, you can, but when you've called them before, has it helped?
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes having that third person perspective, or third, fourth person perspective, someone who's objective, somebody who doesn't know you like your family members do, like your friends do, someone who's not just going to tell you what you want to hear, but who's actually going to be able to call things as they
Mm-hmm.
see it,
Yeah.
and again be objective. That can be really, really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Renee, I wanted to piggyback off of something that you said. You said that when people ask you what you do and you
Mm-hmm.
tell them, there's a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a few years ago, somebody asked me that question of, oh, so, what do you do now? It's somebody that I hadn't spoken with in a long time, and we're catching up and whatnot, and just having this casual conversation. And they asked me, and I told them, and they were like, wait, like, you're a mental health therapist, like a therapist? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, so, like, you talk to like crazy people all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
like, that is not what, mental health and what therapy is. And even the term, like, oh, you're going to therapy, you have a mental health issue, you're crazy, like, that's not what it is. So that's one of the ones that I hear often. Well, I don't want to go talk to a therapist because I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do this on my own. Like, I'm really not crazy. And I've had to tell people, and clients included, yeah, you're not crazy. And that again made me think of somebody who made that statement. They were coming to me for services, and unfortunately, this person had had multiple experiences of people making them feel crazy for seeking help. Which we're gonna circle back to that in the conversation about seeking help. But they had the unfortunate experience of multiple people making them feel like they were crazy. So in our conversation, in our consultation, they were like, I really don't want you to think that I'm
Mm-hmm.
crazy, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy. And so many people have made me
Yeah.
feel like I'm that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, don't want to say bad words on
Mm-hmm.
the line.
Okay. I didn't know. Like before, I didn't know if we're, but now
But,
that you, okay.
but I responded with, no, you are not that crazy. Like, you you are experiencing
Mm-hmm.
a real life problem right now. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make you crazy. It
Mm-hmm.
really does not. If you decide to reach out to a mental health provider, and they make you feel like you're crazy because you're seeking help, you probably need to go see somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Cartessa, I was watching your face and your reactions. What's going on? What's coming up for you?
Well, this is why I, love being in these situations, because the dynamics bring to the surface so
Mm-hmm.
many things that, can reach any individual for
Mhm.
whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
and so I love the crazy. Like, I love the crazy. If you are crazy, if you are out there like, am I crazy? Come see me.
You're
Come
not
see me,
crazy.
girl.
You're not
Yeah.
crazy. So.
But I, just as a mental health professional and like looking into it, someone's like, you know, am I crazy? Right? Uh, there have been a slew, and that's a stigma that,
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
need to take the power away from that. Like,
Right.
am I crazy? Are you? Some of the
Mhm.
best people have been, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't, there's just different ways
Right.
to get over that,
Mhm.
that stigma, that
Mhm.
that crazy mental health people are crazy stigma,
Mhm.
and um, letting that go, just letting go of that worry of, because who defines crazy?
Mhm.
Right. That
Who
part.
makes the rules? What are the criteria?
Mhm.
It's certainly not in the DSM.
Mhm.
you
Absolutely.
know it's certainly not something that I'm qualified to diagnose,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Because it's not
There's
a diagnosis
Right.
that, that I
That's
know.
crazy.
Right.
That I
No,
right.
I don't
That I
know.
Mm-mm.
know.
You know,
Mm-mm.
Crazy is not
it,
a diagnosis.
it's
No.
not. It's
It-
not, and it's not even a bad word in my perspective.
Mhm.
I don't think that uh, crazy should be something that I tiptoe around. I don't think that crazy should be something that my client has to tiptoe
Mhm.
around.
Mhm.
If you come to me and you're asking me if you're crazy, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you guys ever see Alice in the Wonderland
Mhm.
movie?" So remember when she has the bad dream, she wakes up, she goes to
Mhm.
her dad, she's like, "Yo, am I crazy?" And he's like, "Unfortunately, but like the best people are," or it's like
Mhm.
some sort of, and that becomes like a really famous quote. It's a meme. It's all over Facebook.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and then Alice, she goes on to do really crazy stuff, but like it's really awesome and
Mhm.
cool. Like it's. I would love to do what Alice, be as courageous as her. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a different way to get over that stigma.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and the three versions of crazy just on this platform right now, right?
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
it covers such a vast
Mhm.
gateway
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
people to get over that, for people
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
truth, you
Yeah.
know?
And
Mhm.
I think that the part of it that makes it so stigmatized is because crazy has a negative connotation
Yeah.
to it.
Mhm.
When we hear crazy, when people say, "Well, I'm not going to see a therapist. Like, I'm not gonna go see a psychiatrist because I'm not crazy." They're thinking about what other people have made them feel
Mhm. Mhm.
and all of the negatives that are attached to
Mhm.
um, the term crazy. So that's the unfortunate part about it,
Mhm.
and it really breaks my heart when I hear people who could really use somebody to just talk to. Like, I'm not even talking about getting a diagnosis or getting on medications or doing any of that stuff. I'm talking about going to talk to someone to help alleviate some of your problems, some of your burdens,
Mhm.
because I think that unfortunately our society right now has a huge there's a huge focus on individuality, like
Mhm.
being able to do everything, like all the things, everything on your
Mhm.
own, because you want to come across as we're made to feel like we have to do all the things
Mhm.
all the time on our own, and we can't ask for help, or we can't say, "This is a lot, I can't do this right now."
Right.
So if we get to the point of saying, "This is a lot, I can't do this," then we think, "Oh, they're going to think I'm weak, they're going to think that I'm losing it, I'm going crazy because I can't handle these things that everybody else does," when in reality, like,
Mhm.
a lot of people can't handle all of the stuff that society says we have to do. So even those common normal human reaction stuff, there's a I can't go talk to somebody because
Mhm.
they're gonna think I'm crazy, they're gonna think I'm weak, They're going to think that, you know, I can't do this on my own. They're going to think all of these things. And so those are all stigmas. And those are all, you know, reasons that I've heard from people of not accessing therapy. And I share this with potential clients a lot. And I've said this on the Thrive Unburdened platform and on previous lives. I've been to therapy. I've, you know, benefited from talking to someone who was not a family member, who was not a friend, somebody who could be objective, somebody who could hear me out, somebody who could, you know, understand what I was going through. And that didn't mean that, oh, well, now you have to have a diagnosis or a label of sorts, or that I had to, you know, do X, Y, and Z so I could be functioning. It doesn't mean that. And I also recognize that there are situations where a diagnosis is needed because some of the challenges, some of the symptoms do meet that level. And sometimes medication is needed. Sometimes, you know, some people need that extra help, but it's a whole spectrum.
Right.
And, you know, it's okay. Like we all have mental health, and mental health is a part of our physical health. We really cannot have good physical health without good mental health.
Yeah.
Now you said a bad word.
Ooh, did I?
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't. It's not going to affect us. We're still fine.
Okay.
We're still fine.
Okay.
But the way we feel about society, right? The way society feels about the word crazy is the way I feel about the word normal.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. You didn't know.
Okay.
You didn't know. But that word, it like haunts me. Normal.
Because what's normal, right?
Right.
What's
right.
normal?
But we can say that, like, just like we can say what's normal. Why can't we say what's crazy? Why does it have to be, you know? And I know for a empirically witnessed experience as a clinician, as a person, as a Black woman, fact, right? You are hurting. People hurt themselves and other people 100 times more trying to be normal than, you know, embracing crazy. You get people that embrace crazy, right, which is focusing on themselves, their self-development, their mental health, their emotional well-being, what makes them happy, the pursuit of happiness, right? And then you get people that are trying to be normal, and that's like going with status quo, normal, because everybody should be the same, right? And people lose their mind. They lose relationships. They lose, you know, their whole lifetime trying to fit into what someone else believes that normal is.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. And I think that touches on what Renee had mentioned earlier in terms of the comparison piece, right? Comparing where you are now to where somebody else is, or to where society tells us we should be based on what's quote unquote normal. Right now, I'm pulling you into the conversation now since you mentioned that earlier.
There was just so many things that my brain is like latching onto. First thing, I really love how you express, Cartessa, the ideology and the idea of how we define words for ourselves, not based on society. And how do you, for yourself, define normal, or define crazy, or define even the word, are you going to commit me? And all of those things. And what does that mean for you? That's not a broad term that can be placed on everybody, but how do you define that? And it brought me to the thoughts for myself with clients. of the concept of, well, if I come see you, I don't want to fall apart. And I'm like, that's the best part of deconstructing these beliefs, because that is falling apart. And there's beauty in falling apart, because now you get to have a say so in how you want to build it back together. And me being there to kind of draw the blueprint. Like, you have your kitchen. This is what it looks like. These are the dimensions. Do you like this or not? Oh, you don't like marble? Then what do you like? You don't want an oven because you're not okay, you want a microwave, but it's your decision to do that, to deconstruct these conceptions that you have. And yeah, it is falling apart. And it's okay to fall apart. And the beauty of that is finding someone you trust, because you can test the waters with a parent, right? Sometimes we have that, well, let me talk to my parent about this. And then parent wants to turn into mom or dad. And then it's like, ooh. Or, well, my mom is my best friend, or my dad's my best friend. To an extent, because if you cross that line, right, being a parent, you're like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about it. And it's not friend. Or you go to a friend and it's something that your friend has done, or they've done something similar that you're talking about. Now they're on the defensive. And now that's where you can start to feel like, well, I'm the odd man out. Yeah. Or all of those things where I like to say for me, and behind closed doors with my client, that I'm a blank slate. Like, throw whatever you have to throw at me. I'm okay with it. And I can see what the splatter paint and see the picture that has been painted, and then say, okay, well, what about this blue here? You mentioned this blue. We have to come back to it. So can we talk about it? Do you like this picture? Do you like how you have been made to feel? Or do you really feel this way? Do you really feel that you're crazy? And tell me what that means for you. Tell me what it means to be
dropping gems. like whoever's listening right now, if you're watching this, yes, if you're in Louisiana, book your
that is so good. That is so good.
Yeah, shameless plug for her right now. Like,
yes,
book the session with her. That was so good.
That was so good.
Well
said. Good for you.
Well said. Brilliant. Yeah, and I can actually attest to the fact that this is actually who Renee is. Like, I've worked with Renee for the last year and a half. So she's not just saying this because we're on this live video and whatnot.
No, she sounds like so ridiculous. Her own words and her own examples of how she would care for someone, how she would create a safe space. That was brilliant. That was excellent. That was a great job. Go see her. Go see her.
Yes, absolutely.
It was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah. So in talking about stigmas related to mental health and therapy, we've talked about crazy. We've talked about normal. We've talked about she's like, here you go again, saying
all these bad words.
We've talked about those two, big terms, and talking about how we view mental health or how we view therapy. What other stigmas have you guys encountered in your conversations with clients or, friends, family members? What else have you heard?
Well, I just want to touch on something I mentioned earlier: money, cost, insurance, all those necessary words, but not necessary words. All the
allergic.
all the angst of.
She's having a reaction right now.
She said necessary, but not necessary. Period. Right. I love that, Renee.
All the things that we can't, because I will share. I've been in therapy. I believe every person, when you get your health insurance, you get your PCM, or you get to select, do I want English? Do I want black, white, green, red? Do I want a specialty? I feel like they should also issue you a therapist, because they go hand in hand. If something's going on physically, eventually, if I don't take care of it, it's going to eventually impact my mental health. If something's going on mental health wise for me, it is going to, research has shown, it will manifest in our body somewhere. Where that back pain isn't back pain. It could be anxiety. It could be depression. It could be just sadness. It could be all those things. So there's no health is not health unless we include mental health with it. It's a whole package deal. I'm a whole package deal. It's not compartments of me. And we try to compartmentalize that.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, insurance can be an issue, or money can be an issue to go to see someone. And that is a huge stigma, especially in communities that this whole ideology of therapy is like a luxury, or it's not for us, or it's not meant for me. And it is meant for you. And there are lots of programs out there that can assist. Mind you, I work at one of the greatest private practices that there are in the United States.
You must
Thrive
be speaking
Unburdened.
about Thrive Unburdened.
Yes, I am. And
I've heard great things about
there
that.
is an amazing program called the Growth and Relief Program where you can apply on the website, and it's income based. That if you do qualify, you can get 12 free sessions. And I can say that I have worked with one client, working with 1.5 clients now because I'm onboarding one, that has been approved through this program. And it's not a discounted, oh, you get 12 sessions and we're only going to do, no, we go in. I go in, and it has made a difference. It has made a difference in being able to have access to resources that we need. These aren't just luxury things. These are things that we need.
I wanted to say something really quick. It came to mind for me when you said we go all in, even if you're participating in therapy through Growth and Relief. I wanted to touch on that because that is so important. And I think that that's a huge stigma and a huge barrier when it comes to finances and accessing mental health, or overall health related services, and maybe other services as well, where there might be like the pride in terms of, oh, I don't want charity, I don't want handouts, I don't want to feel like in order for me to receive this service, I have to, show proof that I need it. But then there's also the worry and the concern of, if I get this service, if I get qualified to receive these services, am I going to actually receive good services? Because I think that we've all probably had the experience of receiving services that were discounted or free, that were subpar. And I wanted to touch on that to say that, listen, we are a practice, we are a group of clinicians who believe in integrity. And that means regardless of your financial situation, regardless of whether you have insurance or you're paying out of pocket, or you're receiving services through Growth and Relief, the service that you would receive, had you been paying out of pocket, or insurance was covering it, or you're receiving it free through Growth and Relief, you're going to receive the same quality care, same quality care. And it really bothers me when I hear of consumers accessing services, and because they didn't pay full price for it, they're receiving subpar services. Like, that's not okay. Like, it really hurt my nerves. So I just wanted to put that out there to say that if that is a part of the stigma, or a part of like the reason that somebody might feel reluctant to apply for a program like Growth and Relief, or other programs like that, who might provide discounted or free services, don't let that be the reason. Like, don't let the fear of, oh, am I actually going to receive good services, don't let that be the reason that you don't reach out and try to get the help that you need. Cartessa,
It
your face,
is so
like,
hard to keep up with
you're
you.
reacting.
Like,
Tell
you
me.
are such a good I cannot be good. You've got me like wanting to be a better person. Like, you've got me really doing some self inventory. I'm like, this is amazing. How she? Oh my god. Oh my
Mhm.
god. And like,
You're proud.
oh my god, Wendy, you're great. Like,
Mhm.
yo, go, you go.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I really,
No.
I really think that you're right. Like, so, maybe that's like a call to us ladies, like us three. Like, maybe probably should have had this conversation privately, but here we are. Maybe that's a call to us three to like, or me. Let me just be honest. Maybe it's called me to do better and be better because you are correct. And um, finances, Renee, who brought it up, who also brought it up before we went live, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, I'm hearing it, I'm getting it, I got to process it and then figure out how I can contribute. And because you are absolutely right, finances should not be a barrier to mental health services, and it should not be a barrier to subpar services.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
oh, ladies,
Right. Think of
it
it this way.
no, like
I think of it like,
it really hits me deeply.
yeah.
Like,
yes. And
deeply
I'm like
when I
listening to talk,
hear
and I'm like, oh
of
my
that.
God, she's so right.
Because
What am I doing with my
not fair,
life?
you know? Like that's
Right.
not fair for
Yeah.
people who need services to
Mhm.
not be able to access
Mhm.
services because of finances. But
Yeah.
then if they do qualify for a program, for them to feel like, man, like that's what I got through
Mhm.
this. Well, I guess like, you know,
Mhm.
And the children, bro.
Mhm. Yeah.
The children.
I mean, because I have imagery, I paint pictures, I guess now. I think of it as like couponing. I remember being little, my mom would coupon, and you get 25% off of what boar's head turkey deli meat, right? It's not 25% off of the package that says white meat, right? It's 25% off of the top brand that you want to partake in. And maybe the 19.99 for per pound, you can't, it's not in your budget right now. But if you have that 25% coupon, that's going to help you out to get it goes down. That's what I think about when there are companies and services, mental health services that provide economically feasible ways for someone to access services. That's what I think of it. It's not getting the brand that says the white tube that says meat. It's saying, oh, you're going to be able to have access to the boar's head, mesquite turkey, delicious, flavorful. Nothing's going to be missing. It's just you are in a position right now that you need a discount or some assistance with that. It's not to bar you from it, but it's to give you access to it. And that's how I envision it. And I would be less for me ethically and everything I went to school for and the hours I'm trying to get and the blood, sweat, and literal tears. I'm not going to allow anybody to take that away from me and let it on myself, putting myself in a position for it to be taken away. I would be doing myself a disservice as well as the person that is allowing me to be in their most vulnerable spaces with them, to take advantage of them because this might be the first time they ever experience someone that doesn't want anything from them. That doesn't want them to look pretty, that doesn't want them to look clean, that doesn't want them to say, you need to, it's a tit for tat. You got to give me this before I can give you that. And I'm like, how can I get rid of that atmosphere for you if I can, so that there isn't a tit for tat, but it's just, I just want to be in the same space. Even if we're just sitting and not saying anything, I just want you to have somebody here with you just to say, breathe, take a breath. You haven't breathed in 10 years. Can we just take a deep breath? Do you need a nap? Let's take a nap. Do you need a snack? Let's take a snack. Do you need a snack pack? Let's get a snack pack and a blanket. Because sometimes this might be the first time in your life or in this season of life that you just have someone that can fully see you and not want anything from you. Not want anything from you, or to make it seem like in order for me to do, you got to give.
Mhm.
And I can think of many experiences where it's felt that way in my life, where in order for me to get something, I have to give, and then I get a crumb, and it's like,
Yes. And then
sustaining.
you're like, oh, I must deserve this because I'm
Right.
Black, I'm a woman, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
somehow
Mm-hmm.
subpar. And then you don't like, it takes a whole team of
Mm-hmm.
life experiences for you to be like, oh, I'm the dope one. I'm the,
Right. You're
you know what I mean?
phenomenal.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Now I have to,
Mm-hmm.
reevaluate and self-love and all that stuff, which you learn in therapy,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's, yeah, like
Yeah.
all this hard work that you're doing, and which you're amazing, by the way. You are going to be like phenomenal. It's just going to be great. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna be great. And the whole vibe that you're putting out, like how you're thinking about it, how you're like planning it, how you're putting yourself into your craft, which in psychology we all know is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You cannot be fake and be a
Absolutely.
successful therapist. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like how you're going to be able to discern your values, your core beliefs, and you're going to like implement that to help other people. And you're doing it very seamlessly. Of course, Winnie's a good, yes,
He's amazing.
duh.
Oh, thank
Gotcha.
you.
I forgot. I'm like, well, Winnie's a good,
Yeah.
I
she
do my
got me,
best. I do
you
my
know what I
best.
mean? Like I said, she's the one who got me into the
you're
uh
you're bringing that back.
no,
Yeah. Life
it's a
journey.
big deal for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
it's because Winnie talked me into, doing
Becoming the lioness that you
hair
are.
loss." Yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
like,
The lioness, yeah, she's
Yeah.
bringing it back.
"Yo, it was a big," and like if you hadn't been so secure in yourself, in your journey, in your, like how you are as a therapist, which I have like watched and grown. 'Cause goodness, Winnie, I've known you a decade now.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's been a
know,
while now.
it's, you know what I mean? Like it's just I feel like what you're bringing to the table, Renee, in regards to like identifying stigmas for people,
Mhm.
it's, and then being able to like identify them for yourself, like place that in there so
Mm-hmm.
you can remove it for someone else, right? It's going to be glorious, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank
So
you.
proud of you. So, and I look forward to seeing like what you bring to the world and the people you help and what they do, because you help them and then they go out and they help other
Yep.
people, and then like that's what I want to see. And I mean, yo, I'm so excited. This is
Absolutely.
it's been a pleasure just to
Yeah.
see your critical thinking skill.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And I
Thank
really feel like this is a wrap. Cortessa wrapped it up beautifully. And we're about to be 45 minutes into the conversation, and I do want to bring it to a close. And so we talked about crazy normal finances. We talked about the comparison piece of thinking, oh, I'm not where I should be based on, external standards, or based on what we see
you.
other people are doing, or what society tells us to do, or how we should be, things of that nature.
I
So before,
apologize to everyone in advance for Winnie's what do you call that? Her choice of words.
oh,
It's not usually like her to use
I
such harsh words. So we're gonna keep going on,
I
and we're gonna keep this in.
I apologize. I apologize for.
Remember when I had to apologize for the
Oh my
LGBTQIA plus?
goodness. Oh my goodness. I apologize. I
It's fine.
apologize.
It's
Okay.
fine.
But in wrapping up, can you all think of anything else in regards to stigmas that we didn't talk about? I think we talked about the big ones that we wanted to, but before we wrap up, do want to give you a chance to, you know, say some last words if you had some lingering thoughts.
Only lingering thought is if there's something or if there's a stigma that wasn't mentioned for you, if you're watching it now or watching it later, please reach out to, if you're in Louisiana, if you're in Alaska, or even Florida, you can reach out to Thrive. If you're in Oklahoma, please reach out to Miss Cartessa to engage and talk about it, and figure out together with someone of creating a game plan, and know that if I'm not the right fit, or Winnie's not the right fit, or Cartessa's not the right fit, that we are still an advocate for you and figuring out with you a referral, or figuring out what will best suit you. But don't allow something to keep you away from your personal healing journey to get you to where you want to be. Because it's not about me, it's not about Winnie, it's not about Cartessa, but it's about you and where you want to go in life. And if we can partner in any way, whether it's a baton, summer Olympics are coming up, so I'm ready for track and field. If you're passing the baton and I get it and I'm not the right one, then hey, let me pass it to someone that is better suited for you. But don't let this be a barrier. Hey, you
Carrie, babe.
listen,
Love you, honey.
for real, for
Carrie.
real. But yeah,
I'm sorry, Winnie.
No, it's all good, all good. Okay, so next week will be our last live for the Mental Health Awareness Month series. Next week, we'll be talking specifically about therapy. Like, what is therapy, anyways? What does therapy look like? And you'll be hearing from Renee and myself in terms of what you might expect if you're seeking therapy through Thrive Unburdened. We'll talk about the structure of therapy. Believe it or not, therapy is actually very structured. So we'll be talking more about that. So again, if you're watching the live right now, or if you're watching the recording, please join us next week. You will not want to miss that conversation, because we're going to spill a lot of
all the tea,
a lot of details, a lot of secrets about how you as a consumer, how you as a client can go about finding a therapist for yourself, how you can make sure that you're receiving the best therapy services. We will be spilling all the tea. So join us next week. And again, thank you, Renee. Thank you, Cartessa.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.